Get started. Good afternoon. My name is Joachim Hammer. I'm from the SQL team in Microsoft, and I'm here with a few colleagues, with Dhruv and Kavita. They're helping out, talking about security for Azure SQL Database. And then, of course, we also have some guests here. We'll get to that later, but we have Kedar and Adam from Imperva. We have an announcement to make. We'll do that towards the end of the session. So we're going to talk about Azure SQL DB and Azure SQL DW, specifically security. So hopefully it'll be an informative session. We'll lead you through what we think some of the best practices are. We'll also touch on some of the recent announcements and things that we are excited about and want to share with you. And then, of course, we have lots of time for questions and discussions with you. So we want to make it as interactive as possible. Please feel free to ask questions whenever you have one, or feel free to interrupt. We don't have a set script here. We do have slides and we have a bunch of demos, but we'll be happy to deviate in whichever direction you want to take it. So with that, let me jump in. So as I said, this covers security for both of our relational offers, namely Azure SQL Database and Azure SQL Data Warehouse. By and large, the goal for our teams have been to make sure that security, which is really, really important, of course, that the capabilities are aligned along the various products. And we're not quite there yet in all respects, but I think we're making good progress. And so what we do is whenever we get to something where we don't have full alignment, we'll call it out for you. And then Kavita also created a slide at the end of the deck, which we'll briefly show at the end, that gives you a more detailed look at how things are shaping up. But as you heard also, I don't know if you were in the previous section or session where we talked about managed instance, our goal is to make sure that security works the same way with the same capabilities across the different offerings. And one last thing, and then I'll move on. What's not shown here in this graph is that since we're talking about PaaS services, underneath all of this is a common infrastructure for both DB, data warehousing, and then managed instance as part of DB. And so we're spending, especially in our team, we're spending a lot of effort making sure that the service is secure, compliant, that we're meeting all the privacy laws and guarantees. So that's, of course, material for a different session, but I just wanted to assure you again that there's a lot of work that's happening underneath the covers in terms of auditing and monitoring, pen testing, red teaming, blue teaming, and we have a lot of compliance certifications. So what we're showing you today is the sort of customer-facing security front here, but there's a lot of stuff underneath the covers. And if you're interested, we can have a conversation on the side, or you can email one of us, and we'll be happy to engage with you. And maybe at some point we'll even have a session talking specifically on service security. Cool. So on this slide, we tried to give you an overview of the different layers of protection that we have for our services. And like we did in the previous session, we'll peel away these layers one by one, and we'll talk about some of the key capabilities that we have there, and then a few demos. And there's, in these boxes there on the right-hand side, there's a lot of capabilities. We won't get to all of them. But I think we'll cover the most important ones. And like I said, if you have any questions on something that's not covered here, but you see on this slide, like, I don't know, row-level security or permissions and things like that, feel free to engage with us. So with that, we're going to go through these. Here's the agenda for today. These are the different sections. That's why you see so many of us up here. We'll start talking a little bit about network access and network security. And the reason we're doing this here is there are some material differences between the network capabilities of the singleton and elastic pools offers in SQL DB and data warehousing versus what we have in managed instance. So we want to call that out. We also have an announcement in terms of how we're moving the needle further. And then I'll talk a little, and so Dhruv will handle that. And then I'll talk a little bit about data protection, specifically about encryption, some of the things we've done there. We'll talk about authentication. Again, there's some slight differences between where we are with managed instance and the rest of our relational services. And then Kavita will come up and talk about our intelligent monitoring, auditing, and some exciting announcements there, which will then lead us to Adam and Kedar from Imperva, and then they will wrap up the session with a pretty cool demo. I think you should definitely all stick around for that. You don't want to miss it. I'm hoping maybe that you can bring a few more of your friends and colleagues in here to see that. Okay, so with that, Dhruv, why don't you come over here and talk about network security.
Thank you, Joachim. Thank you. So, well, as we all know, network security is fairly easy. All you need to do is get the good people in and keep the bad people out. Can you hear me now? Okay. Yes. All right, I'll start again. So, well, network security can be broadly divided into two things. One, you want to keep the good people in, keep the bad people out. And to that end, SQL database is deny all by default. So, when you create an Azure SQL server, and whether you create a database in there, a data warehouse in there, or an elastic pool in there, it's all deny all by default. And after that, you go in and you configure firewall rules to allow access to your database. So we'll get to firewall rules, but before that, we want to address some of the common issues that many of you have brought up. The first one is that my database is out on the public internet. It's on a public IP. And this diagram here will give you a good idea of what the architecture of Azure SQL Database is. What we have is we have a software load balancer followed by a gateway, and then followed by the actual database, the database that you create. So it's a three-tier architecture, like you would have, say, on premises or for any other web app. The IP, the public IP that you see, is the public IP of the software load balancer. It is not the IP of your database. So your database does not sit out there on the internet for anybody to just say DOS or attack. There are 3 layers of protection before any packets actually hit your database. The other question we hear again and again is that there are multiple ports open on my database. Now, as you would have already guessed, these ports are not open on the database, they're open on the software load balancer. And they're open to allow access to certain stores that are not on your database, but on the gateway. So these stores are in the gateway, they're used by Microsoft. They're secured by either AD authentication or cert-based authentication, and they're used to collect this data for us on our service. This is none of your data is stored in any of these stores, and those ports do not direct to your database. So this was just to get a couple of things out of the way. If any of you have any follow-ups about these 2 questions, please get in touch with me. After the session, I'll be around. Now, coming back to our initial question of how I allow access to the good guys. And how you can do that is you can do that with the help of SQL database firewall rules. Now, there are 2 levels of firewall rules. One is at the server level, and this rule applies to every entity within the server, whether it be a database, a data warehouse, or an elastic pool. And the other level of firewall rules is at the database level, much more granular. Let's say you want to allow access to, say, the finance team, but only to this one database. You allow them access only to that one database. So that is the broad firewall IP capability that we have here in Azure SQL Database. Some of you might want more security, and a lot of you have asked for private IPs as well, and we'll be getting to that in the next slide, So we have private IP capability for SQL Database now. It is currently in preview. What this capability allows you to do is it allows you to put your database inside your VNet. Your database is now not on the public IP. It is on the same infrastructure as earlier, but it is not accessed via the public IP. It's accessed via a private IP inside your VNet. This, of course, allows you to give VPN and express route access to your database. You've been asking for this for a while as well, wherein you want to connect from on-premises, not to a public IP because you don't want to allow outbound to any public IPs from your on-prem firewall rules or on-prem firewalls. So what you have now is VPN and express route connectivity. So just like you would connect to a VM today from your on-prem machine or any app on-prem, you can connect to Azure SQL Database as well. There are no outbound public IPs required, as I said. And just to give you a better idea of what we mean by this, you can look at this diagram. Over here, you see a front-end subnet, a back-end subnet, and another subnet called a database subnet, in which your SQL database and data warehouse reside. This functionality is again at the server level. So any entity within that server will be accessed from that particular IP. So database, data warehouse, elastic pool, as long as it's in the server that has a private IP, you can access it using the same private IP. Notice another thing, that in this backend subnet, there is no requirement for having any outbound access. Let's say you want to use AKV to do TDE with your Azure SQL database. If you put it inside your VNet, you don't need to allow outbound to public IP of AKV. Azure Key Vault's public IP does not have to be outbound on your database. You want to use blob storage to store your audit log records, you don't need to have outbound to SQL blob storage as public IPs either, and so on and so forth. Even our own internal things, let's say geo-replication. You want to enable geo-replication, the data, you do not need to allow outbound to SQL databases IPs in the other region. Geo-replication will be done underneath the covers by us itself without you having to compromise your network security here. Having said this, there are a couple of limitations. First of all, it's not in sovereign cloud. We'll be getting to that in a couple of months. The public IP is still there. We'll be working towards removing this, wherein you will be able to disable public IP access to your database, but you will have to explicitly do so. The reason for this is a lot of you might want to migrate your apps from the existing infrastructure to the private IP infrastructure, and this might result in breakage. This might result in connectivity loss for some odd IP, some odd app out there that's still connecting on the public IP. So we want you to have that control, and we'll be coming up with this in a little while. And finally, there is no IDNS support. So if you configure a VM today, it automatically gets populated, its IP, private IP, gets populated in the IDNS of your VNet. Over here, you will have to use your own DNS inside the VNet. Now, I know a lot of you are already using your own DNS because of certain issues that we have had with IDNS in the past. And we will, of course, be enabling IDNS support. But if this is a blocker for you, please get back in touch with me and we can discuss how to mitigate that. Again, this is in preview. We'll be here after the session as well to answer any questions. And please feel free to get in touch with us if you want to enroll. The emails will be on the slides as well.
A quick question, Dhruv. So this is great news, actually, right?
Thank you. Yeah, actually.
So what does this do to customers? So we hear a lot of times customers are objecting to the slider that says allow all Azure services access.
Precisely. So you don't need to allow all Azure services access because now you can allow access just to your VMs from within your VNet. You don't. Previously, if I wanted to say connect to my VM, I had to either assign it a public IP address, a static public IP address, or I had to allow all Azure services, which was too broad for many of our customers. Over here, what you can do is you can just allow access to a given VNet, given subnet within your VNet itself. So these are your resources to begin with, and then of course you can use subnet level NSGs to secure it even further. So any questions on this? All right, excellent. So now some of you might want a GA'd capability. This, like I said, is currently in preview. So we have a GA'd capability, which is service endpoints. This does help you satisfy the requirement that Joachim just mentioned. You can secure access to just your database. So you can say that this database is allowed to be connected only from a given VNet or subnet. So resources only within that VNet subnet will be able to connect to your database. Again, your data stays on the Azure network at all times, and we provide good separation of roles between the network admin and the DB admin team. We understand that these are different teams in many organizations, and all of this, of course, applies to interface endpoints as well. There are some limitations with service endpoints. One is that the public IP still remains. You will be connecting on the public IP. This will require you to have outbound on your NSGs to Azure SQL Databases public IPs. VPN connectivity is not available because of the simple fact that it's not actually on the private IP. The connectivity is still on the public IP. So I guess diagrammatically this might become a little more clearer. So as you saw in the last diagram, your databases were actually inside your VNet. over here, the databases are outside the VNet. I'll quickly skip back to the previous. So over here, you see that the database is actually contained within the VNet boundary. This is the preview feature interface endpoint. And over here, you will see that the database is actually outside the network boundary. You are getting, you're connecting over the public IP itself. So that is the key difference between these two features. And to be able to connect over the public IP, you must allow outbound to the public IP on your NSGs. Fairly straightforward. So yeah, so this is what we have with network security. If you have any questions, any concerns, please get back to us. And if you want to enroll in the preview, we'll be here afterwards and would be happy. I thought you had a question there. No questions, okay.
How many of you have already been using data warehouse today, SQL data warehouse? Okay, so just a call out, whatever Dhruv has said so far is applicable to both the DB and the data warehouse as well. So this has been most awaited feature. So I would like to hear a clap for this.
Thank you, Kelly.
Can I take your laptop here? Okay, we'll switch gears a little bit and talk about.
Good job. You did a good job. Clear.
Azure Active Directory authentication. Good. Okay, so now we got the network security out of the way. How do you actually guarantee authentication, access to your database? How does that work? What does Azure Active Directory authentication do? So I have a couple bullets here. Most of this, I assume, is already familiar to you. I'm sure you've used Azure SQL Database or DW before. Just as a quick refresher, the goal of Azure AD is to be your one-stop single repository for identities in the cloud. And by doing so, you basically have the ability to cut back on managing different users and passwords and certificates for the various services because you've got this one ID repository, and these IDs can be used anywhere in the Azure ecosystem, actually beyond that O365 and so forth. So you get, with everything in place and the fullness of all the implementations, you get features like single sign-on and so forth. Another advantage of Azure Active Directory, which, by the way, is the authentication mechanism that the whole Azure cloud is getting behind. Another advantage here is that you get simplified permission management, meaning you don't have to create permissions for individual users. You can rely on, for example, IDs and groups in Azure Active Directory, and then by connecting them to the appropriate principals in your database, for example, or in your Cosmos repository, or in any other Azure data service, you achieve the right kind of permissions that you're intending, all by doing that through one place. Elimination of passwords. This is something that we're all focusing on, we're all after. We want to reduce the burden on our customers. Nobody really wants to manage passwords. We're not quite there yet. We have started. So with Azure Active Directory authentication, for example, you get token-based authentication, which allows you to, at least for your applications, to not have to actually put a password into any of your into your code. So that's an important plus. We're going to do a lot more there. Eventually, we want to get to a world where it's all certificate-based or mostly certificate-based. Like I said, we haven't quite gotten there yet, but this is something that we're actively working on. Another really important aspect of Azure Active Directory authentication, of course, is the ability to lay additional factors on top of your authentication mechanism, your password or your certificate, if you wish. So we have something called MFA, or Universal Authentication. And you can configure this in the Azure portal. I'll show you a quick example in a second there, using conditional access, where you can create policies that then prescribe whether or not MFA should be employed for a user or a group, and if so, what other specific factors do you want to have in play here? For example, do you only allow these users or this group to connect from certain devices or IP addresses, for how long, and so forth. So that's conditional access in addition with, or in combination with MFA, very powerful feature. And then finally, this is still a little bit work in progress for us, so we haven't rolled it out completely everywhere across all drivers and all tools in the SQL ecosystem, but that's coming. Both DW and DB support the basics here, and most of our drivers and tools are there. If you have any questions, if you're unsure about what, if something is missing or you have questions on where we're going with this, feel free to reach out to us. So let me give you a little demo. Let me walk you around the portal and show you a couple of things. And what I'll be hitting on is, so not only the basic SQL auth, AAD auth, but we'll look at B2B. This is the ability to invite guest users into your directory. We'll do MFA. And then also, how do you associate identities in Azure with principals in SQL DB or SQL DW? So let me. Okay, so here we are in Azure, in the Azure portal. And I'm going to, oops, not that. I'm going to move over and I'm going to go to my Azure Active Directory called MFA. So with a little bit of delay here. Okay, so here we are in the MFA directory, and we have a couple resources here. We have a server. So we're not in managed instance anymore. So now we're talking logical servers and database. So we have a test server that I created called MFA SQL Test, and of course, in order to use AAD, you have to create an AAD account, an admin account. And so we can look at that here. So in this case, the Azure Active Directory admin is a group. It's called test admin, and we'll take a look in a second who's a member of this group. And members in this group, of course, they have admin rights in the control plane, and that's the Azure control plane. So they can manage this server from the control plane. They also have rights to create databases in this MFA SQL test logical server. So they are admins, just like the SQL auth admin that comes pre-provisioned with every server that you create. Okay, so we've got a test admin here. So let's browse over to Azure Active Directory and actually take a look at some of the things we see here. So what we should see is a group, hopefully called test admin. And we can take a quick look and see who is in that group. So here we are. So there's a test admin group. Okay, and there's 3 users in here. Let's take a quick look at the members. So there's, and these are actually, these are guest users. So there's Joe Hammer. This is from the Microsoft domain. And then there's a user with an MSA account, Joachim Hammer at Outlook account. This is an Outlook account. And then there's another user, Max, also an Outlook account. So these are test admins for this particular server. And then, but we have another group, and this is interesting for the demo in a little bit. We've created a DevOps group here. And in this DevOps group, we have there's one member in here. This is supposedly, let's say you want to create a group of users and give them just the right permissions to do some administrative tasks in the server, or in this case, probably related to a database. And so here's one member in this DevOps group, and we'll come back to this in just a second. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to show you is further down here under conditional access, we have, this is a list of access policies. And so here we have demo MFA. So we've got a bunch of policies. So let's take a look at this one here. So these are the users that are covered here. And so there's the test admin user is covered here. And if you look down here, so what the application, so when you create a policy, you specify what group or users does this policy apply to, and then what app is controlled by this. And in this case, of course, it's Azure SQL Database. We could have included, SQL DW or Cosmos DB or something else. And then down here, the controls, this basically specifies what type do you want. So you want to grant access, require multi-factor authentication, and so forth. Cool. So with that in place, so let's take, popping noise there. So let's actually log in. And, this is a previous demo. So let's connect to this database here. And here it is, MFA SQL test. And we're going to connect as with my Outlook account. So remember, this was one of those test admins, so one of the AAD admins. And so let's see what happens when we connect. So I would expect two things. I would expect somebody, so okay, password. And since there was an MFA policy, we would also expect this to pop up in a second here to ask for the second factor, okay. So I've got my phone here, so I'm expecting, there it is. So here's the code. Okay, so now I'm in. So here's an example of two-factor at work. So we have, as part of this test admin group, there was the Joachim Hammer at Outlook.com account that was had admin privileges with 2FA. So we're logged in now. I can see the database here. There's a test database in there. So let me do one more thing. So let's take advantage of this. Oh, question.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Here in the two-factor, you can actually show the organizational branding as well, as opposed to the Microsoft logo.
Yeah. Yes, so thank you, Subra. So that's right. You can actually reflect your organizational structure and your branding in there. You can do all kinds of things. So thank you for pointing that out. So here we are in this database. There's in the server, there's one database. And so let's take advantage of this DevOps group. And so let's actually associate this group with a user in TestDB. And so the idea is let's sort of create a few, or let's create capabilities to this DevOps group and let them manage, for example, this TestDB. So the way we'll do this is we will, actually I do it differently. I already have my query prepared. Actually, I don't need to do that, sorry. I'll just, okay, so the command that I'm going to use is, and let me actually zoom in on that. So, with this command, what we can do is we can associate this DevOps group, which is an AAD group, with a contained user in the test database, in this TestDB database. And then as a result of this, members of this group can now log in to this test database. So let's see if this works. Okay, and so now what we can see here is if we actually look at the database principles, we should see the DevOps group here. Notice it's not going to show up, the individual users in DevOps are not going to show up because this is an association between a group and a contained user here. Okay, so with this in place, let's put this to the test now, and let's say, so Kavita's standing right next to me here, so she should be, as a member of this DevOps group, she should be able to log into this account. Let me, you 7?
Okay, so let me try login as kavita.j@live.com using the universal authentication with MFA. And there you go. I'm able to see test DB. You made it working, Joachim. Thank you so much.
Of course. Now we can do one last thing. So what if I drop you from this database? Then so then you should be able to, or you should not be able to log in anymore, right? The other thing we could have done is we could have enabled multi-factor authentication on that group, and then she would have been required to, put in an additional factor. Let me just drop her from the group, and that actually dropped the group. So here we go. So now it's gone. So let's say if you try logging in again, then you should not be able to.
Okay. Yep.
So all with this simple association of groups to principals. DB is a little bit different in the way we handle this managed instance. If you were in the previous session, you saw that we had the ability to not only associate AAD groups with contained users in a database, but we could actually go a step further and do this for logins, which gives you additional power. That's not available in DB yet. Actually, it's not available because we don't allow, there's no control over master. So this is always going to be something that's different between DB and managed instance. Okay, so let me go back to the slides. Any questions on AAD? Yes? Yes, token-based authentication, yep, works. No demo here. That's a little more involved because it shows we have to show app, but we have sample code. So there's a lot of code that we have samples for how to actually use, let's say, a C# program that wants to authenticate against a database using various drivers. Also, we have Java examples and how to use token-based authentication. I can point you to something. So that's there. Yes, go ahead. So yes, it is now. So whatever we have here now works for SQL DW. DB singleton and pool is on par with DW as far as authentication, AAD authentication is concerned. Mm-hmm. All right, back to the slides. Okay, so where's my, oh, here's the clicker. Okay, so next is protecting sensitive data. And so there's really two parts to it. The first part is, well, first I have to find it. I have to know what sensitive data I actually have in the database. And then the second part is, how do I protect it? For the first part, we have something in preview called data discovery and classification. And Kavita is actually going to show that a little bit later on. So that's a tool that helps you find information that might be sensitive. So it identifies columns in your database based on metadata, based on schema information, understands different languages, does not look inside the columns at this point. So if you are concerned, and I know there's a lot of folks out there, we are not actually using or looking at customer data, we're looking at metadata. Based on that, we're identifying information or columns that might contain sensitive data, and then we will flag it. There's some info types that are built in that will allow you to identify what that content is, and then flag it with a set of sensitivity labels. That tool is called data classification, and it's in public preview right now. It's coming from ILDC, so this is part of this triple of intelligent protection features that we are offering there. And continuously enhancing this. There's a lot of ways we can improve upon it. If you have any feedback, if you used it already, it'll be awesome if you get in touch with us. So that's, Kavita will demo that. Assuming you have done some sort of an identification process, especially now that GDPR is upon us, I know a lot of you have done it. We did it internally for Microsoft. We went through a very long process of identifying information, PII information, customer data, and so forth. Then the next question is, how do I protect it? And you do have a number of options. We have various encryption technologies ranging from encryption at rest, that's transparent data encryption, or TDE. The news here, well, actually it's not so much news anymore, is that we in Azure DB and in SQL DW, we give you the option to actually control the certificate, the TDE protector, we call it in the cloud, that encrypts the DEC, the data encryption key. So that is that went GA around April timeframe, and that's an important feature for a lot of customers who have internal policies and compliance requirements that force them to take possession of these certificates and manage them themselves, rather than having us, the Azure team, manage those certificates on your behalf. So you have the option now. By default, when you create a server in the cloud, TDE is turned on by default. At the server level, we manage the certificate. Every database you create in there, of course, will be protected. It's super easy, super simple, especially in light of all the geo-replication, the GeoDR that we offer. You don't really have to worry about it. The certificates travel wherever your databases go. We do it. The other case, I'll show that in a second, is the user-managed option, where you just basically have two cases. You can generate that certificate yourself and upload it into Azure Key Vault, or you can have Azure Key Vault generate one of those certificates for you and manage it there. So that's TDE. We also have encryption in flight, or encryption, network encryption. That's TLS, of course, over TDS for us. We are at version 1.2. In the Azure world, we require connections to be encrypted. So if you connect to Azure SQL DB or DW, we enforce encryption. We do have in our drivers when you connect, there's a negotiation that takes place. So if you connect with a down-level client, we do negotiate to the highest supported protocol. That's the current status. We are looking at ways to enhance this even further and provide options perhaps where you can turn that off and say, unless you come with TLS 1.2, don't even try connecting to my server. There's a few things that we're looking at. If you have any feedback for us, love to hear from you. And then finally, we have encryption in use, or always encrypted. We've talked about it briefly yesterday. My colleague Jakub has a session tomorrow on Always Encrypted specifically, a whole 75 minutes on that. If you're interested, I encourage you to go there. And that really gives you a glimpse into what we just released in CTP2 with SQL Server vNext, and also what's coming to Azure. That was one of those cases where we weren't quite cloud first, but there were other reasons for it. So those are the encryption options. One more thing before I go to the demo. We always get a lot of questions between encryption and data masking. And so I just want to spend a minute or so on this topic. And you have to distinguish between different cases. Like with so many things out there, there's no one answer. It depends really on what you're trying to achieve. So number one is, if you want to protect your sensitive data from any kind of high-privileged users, be it somebody who broke into your server, or somebody who took possession of the credentials, or in the cloud, an Azure operator against Azure operators who sometimes do have DevOps privileges. If you want to protect against those kinds of threats, then really the next question to ask is, well, are you still interested in querying that sensitive data, or at least part of it? So if the data has to be protected and you want to make it queryable, then there's really only one answer, and that's always encrypted. You could, of course, if you're really worried and you want to just protect the data, but you don't, it's only for archiving, you never need it again, or you have other issues like you want to use the data for maybe testing and so forth, then you could use some sort of a masking, static data masking approach, for example, where you completely and irrevocably wipe out the data and replace it with carefully crafted gibberish. The advantage there is nobody will be able to see that sensitive data while at the same time you retain the characteristics of at least the set in itself, and you can do some testing on it, you can do some performance testing on it. So that's another option, that's using static data masking. And then in other cases, the third bullet here, if you just want to protect your data in query results and you're worried about application users or some low privileged users getting a hold of information, then there's two options. One is dynamic data masking, of course, which we offer. That is a policy-based approach where you can craft a policy associated with a column that contains sensitive data, and then that policy specifies how the data shows up in the result set. So that's dynamic data masking. We also have something called cell-level encryption. That's a similar kind of technology, or that achieves a similar effect. That has, of course, much stricter cryptographic protection, and it gives you some control over what you actually are encrypting here. So I just wanted to throw that out. Of course, there's always a much deeper discussion that we could have on this topic, but just to get the discussion started, this is sort of a rough guideline from our perspective. So let me, yes, please.
So if you can wait until the last slide, I have a roadmap section. Thank you so much for the question, though.
Yeah, so I'm going to come, so yeah, anything else before we launch into a quick demo? And if I can't see you in the back, jump up. Yes, I think there were two questions.
Yeah, but this TLS 1.0 is going off support.
Uh-huh. So a great question. So the question was, I use, so with TLS 1.0 going away soon, I'm a developer, what do I need to do? So at this point, we will still allow you to connect. Like I said, we will actually negotiate to 1.0. We still support 1.0 to my last checking. I think it behooves you, though, to upgrade to at least 1.2. 1.3 is coming soon. We have drivers that support the latest versions. So I think the best for you is in order to prevent any kind of disruptions in the future, to upgrade to 1.2 at least, 1.3 in the future. I don't have a timeline yet when we will turn off 1.0, but the only thing that I know for certain, it is coming. So in the future, maybe it's 6 months or 12 months from now, for various reasons, FedRAMP compliance, for example, already demands that their customers connect on the latest version. So the best is just to upgrade to drivers and clients that support 1.2. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me switch. Okay, so different database. So what I want to do is something similar to what my colleague Ajay did in the previous session, namely I have a database. Let's say we have a database on-prem. Let's actually connect. We have a database on-prem. It's called Demo Hospital. And I want to migrate this database to Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL DB Singleton, not a managed instance, but Singleton. And I want to do so while it's encrypted. So if you can just do a quick test here. So here's a database. I already turned on TDE encryption. So there you go. And so I want to migrate this database into Azure SQL DB. And it could also be DW with a different scenario. And the premise is I want to keep it encrypted, so I don't want to turn TDE off. And so what are my options? My options are multifold, actually. I could use import-export, so I could create a backpack and then migrate it. That's a little bit of work. I could use an SSIS pipeline. I don't know if you have tried this. So I could try and do some sort of an ETL process and migrate it into Azure SQL Database. Or I could use what we are now pushing, namely to use data migration service, which also works for migrating on-prem into SQL DB. So these are options. The only option I don't have is what Ajay was showing you earlier, namely I can't create a backup and then move that backup into a storage account and then restore the backup. We just don't allow that for security reasons for singletons and pools, okay? So with these three options, I chose to use Migration Assistant, and just to show you, I've already created a target here. Let me switch my portals. So where I want to go with this is, there we go, finally. It's a little bit slow, sorry about that. I have created a server up here, and in the server I have, oh, by the way, we can, of course, double check. We have transparent data encryption on by default. And when I say by default, the service managed version of TDE is turned on, as you can see here. So I'm not using my own key, but TDE encryption is on. And I also have created an empty database here, and that is called Demo Hospital here. And of course, this is TDE encrypted. It just doesn't have anything in there. That's a prerequisite for using data migration service here, at least the version that I have. So if you clicked on, we could look at it in T-SQL, or we can look at here. There it is. So it's encrypted. So at the database level, you can either turn on encryption on or off. The keys are controlled for the server level because the certificate is actually a server-wide certificate, as you know from SQL Server on-prem. Okay, so without further ado, let me just quickly step through the this process with you here, and hopefully, if it takes too long, then I'll just abbreviate it. But I just wanted you to see it. So we'll create a test project from SQL Server into Azure. Let's create this, and the server on-prem is my laptop here, and here it gives me a couple options. So this is the demo hospital. You can see compat level is there. It's 140, and we go next. And then here's the destination. This goes into this server here. I'm going to use SQL auth, and where was my password? Highly secure, right there. And then the only other, like I said, we enforce encryption, so I have to encrypt, and then I connect. And this is now going to connect to the database, does a little bit checking behind. And here is the database, that shell that I'm using, and I'm going to click next. So it goes through a similar process that you are familiar with if you use import-export. There's a DACFX underneath the covers, which collects all the schema information. Here, these are the objects that it found. There's a bunch of roles, tables, users. So it's pretty thorough. It finds RLS policies and things like that. The only thing that's not supported right now is Always Encrypted, unfortunately. So the ideal demo would have been I encrypt some of the columns, Always Encrypted as well. That is coming very soon. I just talked to the folks there. They're working on it. So eventually, the whole gamut of encryption technologies is supported. Here it is. It's scripted out. We could review it. Let's just go ahead with it. And so now it deploys the schema, and then it deploys the data, and we're good to go. And then last thing I want to do is, while this is going, okay, this is a little bit slow here. Okay, and then we'll migrate the data. That should really be slow because there's only a few tables, a few columns per table. Click start. Okay, so while that is going, let's move on. So the last thing I want to show, so what happens, the data got migrated, it's TDE encrypted, but it's using the service managed certificate that was there in the server. So one last thing we could do now is we can go back to our server level. This is where the keys are managed, and we can do the following. We can actually go here and turn on and switch to user-managed key. And the reason I would do this is because, just like Ajay did and some customers do, I actually want to control the certificate. I want to create it myself. And I did just that. I actually, oops, sorry about that. As you can see here, I backed up the certificate from my SQL Server on-prem. You could use an HSM as another way to do this. And I created this my TDE cert here, and this is in the right format, the PFK file. And so now what we can do in the cloud, and by the way, let's just quickly double check. Yep, migration finished. So now we can come here. And as a last thing, let's switch over to user-managed key and use that certificate that we created on-prem that we want to import. So first thing I do is I have to select an Azure Key Vault. This is where we maintain these certificates. I'm going to pick one in the same region. And then I'm going to select a key. And so I have a couple options now here. In the interest of time, we can create a new key. This should be fast. So actually, this may not be so fast, but here's the upload option, so you can import the key. I've done that already, and so here's a couple uploaded keys that I tested from that certificate that you saw. And with this in place, that's all we need to do. There's a bunch of warnings here which are very important. You don't mess with keys, and as this is going, I'll tell you specifically. So this is done now here, and now you can see that Databases Encrypted is using user-managed keys with a certificate from on-prem. So Kavita, why don't you come up here on stage and get ready, and I'll finish off with a couple words on key management, and I'll give you this back. So one last thing on key management, very important. With control comes great responsibility. Now that with a user-managed key in TDE, you have to be really careful. You have to make sure you back up your keys. We have turned on soft delete, meaning if you delete something, we'll ask you again, do you really want to delete it? It'll go into some trash can. You have to delete it again. So we put a lot of things in place. If you do lose your key, or if the key gets deleted, your database is instantly unavailable, and there's nothing we can do. So hence all the warnings up there. Happy to talk more about key management, best practices about how you should create your key vaults when you do GODR and so forth. My colleague Alice in my team has written some good blogs on that. I encourage you to take a look there. So thank you, Kavita.
Okay, thank you, Joachim. So it's already late. I'm really glad you are still sticking around. We'll do our best to wrap up as fast as possible. So this section is going to be talking about the business requirements, like how do my auditors know if my data is compliant? How do I monitor for malicious activities against my database and data warehouse instances? How do I discover proactively my database or data warehouse vulnerabilities? So all these are the things that I'm going to be talking about in a bit. So let's start with the vulnerability assessment. How many of you are already aware of this capability so that I can tune to the audience? Okay, probably 10 hands. So we are glad to announce vulnerability assessment for SQL data warehouse as well. We did that in the keynote. Rohan Kumar from our organization, he's a CVP, he announced that. So it's in parity with SQL DB today. So what this does is you will be able to set it very easily on the portal for you to be able to scan for the set of vulnerabilities and remediate. It's all in a very easy manner. I'll be able to walk you through what this is. So this helps you also set a baseline and then look for the deviations thereafter. So quickly moving to threat detection. So I'll stitch all this up during the demo, but for now, let's actually focus on what is threat detection. How many of you are already aware of threat detection here? Okay, probably half of the room. So I don't have to really motivate you to say how important this threat detection is, right? This helps you to detect anomalies on your database or data warehouse. It helps you to see if there is any SQL injection attack, or if any login is coming from some unknown location, or if the user password attempts are failing, or any activity that's anomalous, we pretty much go and detect that instantaneously. So I will show you in a bit on how this works. Again, this work has been done by the SQL team out there in the ILDC in Israel, and this automatically works for both SQL database and database warehouse today. So auditing-wise, what I would like to call out here is you are already aware that the audit logs flow into SQL blob storage, right? So what we are enabling, in fact, we have enabled very recently, is the integration into OMS and the event hubs. So I will actually show you in a bit how the partner, Imperva, has taken this further, and so that you can visualize more insights on top of it. Using auditing, again, let me actually go through the demo and then make it much clearer for you.
Actually, let's do the following. Let's make a quick audible here. Let's bring the Imperva folks on stage because we only have a few minutes and I don't want to miss this. We've demoed this a bunch of times. Ron is going to demo it again tomorrow. So we can show you at the end, but I don't want to miss Imperva. So we'll come back to yours. Okay. Please don't leave yet. Let's bring Adam and Kedar on stage. It's my fault. I apologize. I went on too long, as always. But I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk a little bit about Imperva, actually, or have them introduce themselves and say a few words, and then we'll come back and show Kavita's DW demo.
Which laptop are we switching to?
So mine is 7.
Which number is yours?
We're here, right?
I think it was 8, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe.
Yes. Oh, and do you have a different one?
No, your slides.
Oh, my slides. Oh, that's 5. Yeah, and here's the clicker.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Kedar Duru. I'm a product manager with Imperva. And for those that don't know Imperva, I'll do a quick introduction. So Imperva has been around since 2002, and we do a couple of things. We're an information security company that protects your data, and then how your users and customers access the data, so we protect applications. So applications and data security are what we do. On the application side, we have the Imperva application security portfolio that's been around and for the last few years has been the leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. And then we've been doing data security since 2004. And essentially, our aim is to protect data wherever it resides and any kind of database. So, multiple different databases, either on-premise or in the cloud. What we are going to focus on today is some of the capabilities that Joachim and Kavita talked about, doing database activity monitoring, sending it to the event hub, and how we can integrate with that to help you simplify some of your compliance processes towards regulatory compliance. As you know, you have various different regulations that customers need to be compliant with, or companies need to be compliant with, like SOX or HIPAA, most recently GDPR. So what Imperva does is it allows you to implement automated processes to automated best practices around data discovery, auditing, data classification, and so that you can either do policy enforcement for security alerts and security, or help generate those reports that allow you to get compliant. We do this through a solution that enables you to have oversight processes to make it continuous and in real time, so that you can establish a series of repeatable governance processes. That's essentially what we do. So just jumping quickly into back into very simply how we integrate. We have an appliance that can run either in Azure IaaS or on-premise. It integrates with the Event Hub that you may have created, that you're already streaming audit data to. And Adam here is going to switch over and quickly talk about how that integration happens and how simply you can look at some of the alerts, profiling, as well as generate compliance reports.
So what we need here is simply to be receiving audit data from your SQL database. We're going to stream that to the Event Hub configuration that you have in your environment. And then from our solution, we simply have an API call that will attach to that event stream, to that Event Hub, and begin to pull in the data. So all we need is that shared access key, that policy. We're going to call the API and communicate to your Event Hub. What that will allow us to do as soon as we have this inputted into the solution is begin to pull that audit data into our platform. This gives you a central repository for all of your databases, either on-prem or in Azure, to have that information stored in that location. Some of the things that we're going to see here, I want to come into our audit data. And so the first thing we're going to find is going to be our audit information. I'm going to go back over the course of a month here as I've generated some content. And we'll be able to see the who, what, the when, the where, the how of that information. I'm going to sort here on time. It just kind of gives a different breakdown. And we'll be able to see what application I connected with, what additional processes I've had, what the response of my query is, and what that begins to look like. From here, if I find something of interest, I can drill in further and retrieve what we call event data, which is the exact parsed query and any other low-lying events that correlated into that single audit event transaction. So here we can see some of that audit data, that event data. If any SQL exception occurred, we'd also be able to report on that. So this is great for tracking and additional visibility. But what I really want to see then is what might be considered an alert or a violation or a security incident. So again, I have a saved filter here. We'll come in, look specifically at some of the audit alerts then that were triggered as we access some of that data. What we're really seeing here as well is things that we've done from a profiling perspective, meaning that we will look at a repeatable history of your users, of those people interacting with your data, application accounts, DBAs, that have established a baseline and then have deviated from that in some way. We can begin to alert and to profile those users. So here, I usually access this from my home office. Whenever I access it from the conference this week, it would trigger basically an unauthorized source IP address. Fisher AD has never accessed this from this IP address, and now he's touching data from here, as well as when I come in and I access different schemas or different parts of the database. This is very powerful whenever your applications are interacting with your database. If that application account or application is compromised in some way, we can then begin to alert on that type of activity. Lastly, we always have to have reports, and so then we put this into nice reports for your CISOs and for your executives to show, okay, these are some of the source application breakdowns over time. These are automated and can show up in their email and show that you're doing a great job. That's what I got.
Okay. Sounds good. So back to the ATP, Advanced Threat Protection. So this works today for, most of it works for data warehouse as well. But what I have here is the SQL DB blade. And if you can't see, there you go. So this is what I have, Advanced Threat Protection. So what I'll be showing here is the data classification feature that Joachim has already gone through, and vulnerability assessment and threat detection. And then I'll go show you a sample application that is vulnerable to SQL injection attack, and then how ATP, the threat detection service, monitors intelligently under the covers and sends you an alert instantaneously, and how you'll be able to visualize that on the portal. Okay, so the data classification and discovery helps you to classify your data in terms of assigning the labels and information type to them, so that you can reason about it in terms of, hey, is this highly confidential? Is it confidential? Is it GDPR related, or anything on those lines? So right now, we don't have custom tags that you can assign them to. However, that is going to be expanded in future. So what we have is, if you see up here, we have the recommendation engine that actually tells you, hey, these are all the columns for which you can assign, and we recommend these type of sensitivity labels and information type. And if, let's say, I am okay with, I can accept the recommendations that the engine has already given me. Or I could add a new classification tag and save it so that that actually gets stored into the database engine itself. So going back to the visualization, here I see a bunch of classified columns that I already have. And the same capabilities, here it says how many tables have the columns that are sensitive, and what are the different type of information types I have. And if I want, I could actually take it to the next level and go use the SSMS and figure out whether I have a set of columns that are already confidential, or how I have classified further. So let's say you want to add a sensitivity classification not through portal, but you want to actually use the T-SQL. We have also enabled that grammar for you. And you can add the sensitivity classification. And there you go. If you select these column types that I just added, I can see that it has been stored in the data warehouse, or the database, sorry. This capability is coming up soon for data warehouse, but this is the database. You can also drop the sensitivity column, and you can see that it's actually gone in. So going back to, let me quickly drill down. Okay.
We do support customers for this week. We announced that we support the custom labels. So if a company has its own labels with different languages, or want to change the ranking, they will be able to do it throughout the security center, through all the tenants, for all the languages.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. It has been announced just during the Ignite, hot off the press. Okay, so what I have here is an application that is vulnerable to SQL injection attack. So I will log in as some user, and then I injected, there you go, right, an injection, a SQL injection, and I type in some fake password, and let me see if I can actually get in, right? And it, okay, so it did not allow me to get in. That is good. Okay, so I can search by certain filters. So that's the purpose of this. So let me actually log out, and okay, so there you go. Basically, it allowed me, even though I entered a password that had actually commented out, right? And it's like a SQL injection. So now let me see if I can detect that from the TP, the threat detection service. So here is how I want to actually inject, because I'm actually wearing the hat of a malicious user right now. And instead of Seattle, I will just type in this and say, okay, let's see. There you go. So what it is showing me is extra information, which is a credit card information of Zachary Moore, which I'm not supposed to. So by now, I should be actually receiving an email alert. So in the meantime, let's actually go to the portal and see if I have detected any threats. If the service actually, so what it is doing is under the covers, it's monitoring the user pattern. And anything that's really malicious or anomalous, it detects and it shows that on the portal and also sends you email. So if you go see, so here are the bunch of alerts. So if you see 9:26 today, at this point in time, I see that there is an attack that has happened. And this is my query where this has been actually injected, right? So this actually shows nicely on the portal. And let me see, there you go. The email actually alert came in and it tells us what happened and how do I remediate this problem. And it also, you can view this vulnerable SQL statement as well. So that's the power of intelligence that's built into the database engine or data warehouse engine, and it works for both the DB and DW today. Are we okay on time? So I have one last thing, which is vulnerability assessment.
Well, actually, let's speed it up a little bit. We want to have a couple minutes at the end.
Right, I have 2 more minutes here. So vulnerability assessment, as we already spoke about, gives you a sense of the potential vulnerabilities that are there on my database or the data warehouse instance. So it actually gives me a scan. You can either configure it to run on a recurring basis, or you can basically do it on demand. So it tells me a set of vulnerabilities that are already, for example, in this case, the scan happened, or it found 4 vulnerabilities, and then rest of the rules have actually been passed. So for example, if I don't have auditing enabled, or if I don't have threat detection enabled, it would actually pass. So once you have seen the fail, so what it is showing you is how many roles or what type of roles have excessive permissions. And is there any excessive T-SQL, the surface area that has actually been exposed. So for example, I have given to open up to the internet and not really restricted to certain firewalls. So all these things are detected by vulnerability assessment. What you can do is you can look at each of them, and it also gives a way to remediate the problem by suggesting what to do. And you can go and remediate that and approve that as a baseline. Once it's approved as a baseline, what happens is next time when you run this report, or automatically or on demand, you'll actually see that it automatically takes that baseline into consideration, and it gives only the deviations since then. And so there you go. So do you have time for a Q&A?
Yeah, let's do Q&A.
Let's do that.
I just wanted to say a couple more words. So we're super excited to have Imperva actually here with us today, and I'm sorry we didn't give enough time. I think there was probably a little more you could have said, but why don't you guys come on back on stage. As to positioning, I think you've seen we've got threat detection, we've got vulnerability assessment. For us, the cloud is all about options, and so we want to give customers an option, and I think with Imperva, with the credibility, with the many years of enterprise experience, I think this lends credibility to us and gives customers an option. So for that, we're super excited to have them here. Overall, I think the goal of this session was to show you that, what do we have in security for both DB, DW. We're working on a few things still. It's continuously getting worked on. I'll leave you with this. I want a couple minutes for questions that you guys have, so feel free to go ahead and let us,
So let me answer the pending question that I have postponed. So here is the slide that actually talks about what's coming for DW. So if you are interested, come stop by. So in the meantime, you can ask other questions if you have.
Sounds good. And the slide decks are available. The deck, of course, you can download that, and we're here to help with more questions. So, yeah, anything? For service encryption, the certificate rotation is done by us. We rotate every 90 days. You have no control over it. For user-managed certificates, of course, you are at your own. You can rotate as many times as you want, and so that's completely up to you. Yes, question?
I missed a tiny bit, so maybe it's been answered already. interface endpoint, I think it was called.
Yep.
It restricts which IP addresses can connect to the database, right?
Correct.
And
The server, actually, not the database, but the server.
yeah. What I usually do is I open it up because I want to use Power BI or Power Apps or other Office 365 applications. How do I go about if I want to close it off and restrict it? Can I still allow access from like Power BI or Power Apps?
Right. Drew can correct me, but you can spin off a VM as a gateway within the VNet. And from there, you can have analysis services or Power BI access from there. So, but I don't want to steal the thunder, but it's on the roadmap for Power BI as well.
So
To
actually,
be part of the VNet.
so service endpoints won't do anything for you there. That's the problem. But you have to, if you wait for the VNet integration, then you have additional options. The fullness of time, we need Power BI to also support VNets, which currently I'm not. Maybe Drew knows.
Right.
But
Right now it would be
A VM as a gateway.
premises gateway. You would have to install that on a VM
In the VNet, and then you should be able to easily, work through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Anyone?
all right, then with that, thank you for your attention, and have a good rest of the conference. Thank you much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.